Seminar organized by RP Delhi Study Circle. Myself, C.S. Anjal Madan. I am a practicing company secretary and associated with Mr. Vishal Agarwal, advocate. Today we have a session on the discussion paper on corporate liquidation process. I invite Mr. Madhusudhan Sharma ji, our experienced advocate and insolvency professional to
Thank you, Anchal, and thank you all the participants. This webinar is on the discussion paper issued by IBBI regarding the liquidation process. Earlier we had a discussion last month, July 14th, on the discussion paper related to the number of assignments which an IP can handle. And we had forwarded whatever the opinion was expressed by the members to IBBI on 25th July 2020. So our endeavor is that wherever there is a question which needs to be discussed among the insolvency professionals, we organize such meeting and request more and more participation so that whatever we feel is to be done can be communicated to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. And this discussion paper is regarding two issues. One is assignment of debts by the creditors, and another is assignments of non-recoverable debts of the corporate person by the liquidator. So I'll just put the context and share the details so that we have a better view of what we are going to discuss. I hope this Word file is visible.
Yes, sir.
So this paper was issued by IBBI on 26th August 2020, and we are supposed to give the comments by 16th September. So we'll collate whatever is the opinion expressed by the members and communicate it to the IBBI. So there are two key issues. One is whether transfer or assignment of debt should be allowed during the liquidation process by the creditors. This is allowed in the CIRP process by virtue of Regulation 28 of the CIRP regulations. And even otherwise, this section 3, subsection 21, which talks about the security interest, and section 28, which talks about the committee of creditors, refer to the assignment. So assignment is a basic right of any creditor. They can assign their debt at any point of time. This has been facilitated during the CIRP process, and now there is a proposal to facilitate it during the liquidation process. Voluntary liquidation is still untouched because the similar problems may arise in voluntary liquidation also. This paper is only for compulsory liquidation, which is in case of failure of CIRP process. The second part of this is the assignment of not readily realizable debts. So we have been talking about a term which was related to insolvency. Now we have to talk about NRR of the corporate debt. So these are the two issues has been circulated by IBBI, is that there will be addition of two new regulations in the liquidation process regulations. Regulation 30A, which will allow transfer of liquidation process, and 20 regulation permits assignment of debts during CIRP process. And the second is Regulation 38A, which is more important and which will be the mainstay of discussion today. That is regarding assignments of not readily realizable assets. And it has given a definition in the explanation. It has talked about where the liquidation estate has any beneficial interest, including any right to sue, that is conferred on the liquidator, that is not readily or advantageously realizable. The liquidator may assign such interest under this regulation. If you remember, there is also a provision of those onerous contracts which the liquidator can forego. So So similarly, this provision is not for foregoing completely. It is for assigning and getting at least some value out of it. And the definition which is given in the explanation for this NRA include refunds from disputed receivables, disputed assets, and assets underlying preferential, undervalued, extortionate, and fraudulent transactions. Most of the IPs will say that or experience that most of the debtors which are shown in insolvent companies are generally not and valued transactions. The cases drag on for years together. In my case, the resolution happened in 2019 and the case is still going on. And I've been asked to give a presentation to a MCA on 12th about what is the status of the application for PUFE transactions. So that is the state of affairs actually. So there's no option other than assigning it to complete the process of liquidation in time. The second part of this regulation talks about whether the liquidator may assign such interest with or without any recompense arrangement. That is going to be difficult how it has to be tackled, because recompense means the money can come at a later date even after the dissolution of the company, and how it is to be handled or distribution among the stakeholders. And the third clause is regarding the liquidator shall not assign such interest to persons who is not eligible under the code to submit a resolution plan for insolvency resolution of the corporate debtor. This refers to the ineligibility under section 29A. So earlier section 29A was added for CIRP proceedings. It was held that if somebody can't put up a plan during CIRP, he is also ineligible for taking all assets during the same ineligibility is attached here by virtue of this subclause. Fourth is regarding the consultation, the stakeholder consultation. So the existing provisions say that it is not necessary that the liquidator should go by the decision of stakeholder consultant committee, as in case of CRP, where the COC decision has to be adhered to by the RP with reference to wherever the powers are vested with the COC. So here the issue is whether in this case the decision taken by SAC has to be binding on the liquidator, or the liquidator will have a right to differ with reasons to be recorded in writing. So that is all about that amendments proposed. Now IBBI has also given 4-5 questions to be addressed in the comments to be given to IBBI. The first is, should it be possible for the liquidator to sell or assign not readily realizable assets to any third party? So that is for the enabling provision whether to do it or not, as an alternative to liquidator pursuing such claim himself. And the second thing is regarding, should the assignments have an option of recompense facility? If yes, what should be the mechanism to distribute the funds to stakeholders post dissolution of the corporate debtor? And the third question is whether the stakeholder should it be mandatory for the liquidator to act as per SEC advice? Because right now it is not mandatory for liquidator to act on the advice of consultation committee. Then what measures should be taken to ensure the assignment of NRA results in maximum realization? And the last question is, should the assignment of claim interest on a time frame? So preferably to complete the first round with 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll have questions, and thereafter the last round, if somebody wants to add on the opinion expressed earlier. So I hand it over back to Ms. Aanchal to continue the proceedings of this webinar. Should I
Uh,
keep these questions displayed or I remove it? Will it be better for your guidance? Okay. So over to Aanchal.
thank you, sir. I first invite Ms. Pooja Bahare to give their opinion about this discussion paper.
Good evening, everyone. Regarding this discussion paper, in fact, it is a very, very positive move by IBBI because, in fact, all IPs, all liquidators are facing a lot of problems when, especially, there are assets which are disputed assets. There are assets, it's mostly like debtors, which are non-receivable debtors. And I feel that this is a very, very good amendment. But yes, I actually feel that there are the problems which will come in this amendment is that this amendment would be in the regulation. Now, what has happened, like in a case of mine, I think day before yesterday only, similar in a liquidation matter where all the assets had been sold, and you could say only such not readily realizable assets were left. In fact, they were also not left. They were the ones where there was some application had filed by, because when you say that there is an application is filed for these NRRAs to be recovered, so I had filed an application under section 66, under 66 went to NCLAT, and in both the places an investigation was ordered. So now day before yesterday, the court has actually ordered that in till the investigation completes, that is mind you, an investigation which is not even started. So till then, I am to remain the liquidator, despite the fact the court has also mentioned that yes, the regulation says that within a 1 year the liquidation has to complete. But the court has categorically said that though it is a regulation, but it is not binding on the adjudicating authority to order dissolution of the corporate debtor. And in fact, they have also mentioned that to recover such assets and to recover the value of such assets and to ensure the smooth distribution of such assets, we will not dissolve till those investigations complete, and the liquidator will remain the liquidator. So now now the situation is that even if an amendment like this comes in the regulations, the one pertinent question is, can the liquidator be absolved of his responsibility to appear before all the various investigation authorities, wherein, as in, can you, when you say you assign the debt, wherein you've assigned any recoverables from undervalued transactions, can you actually assign your investigation to someone? I mean, this is a very pertinent question. The reason being, it is something which is day before yesterday, in my case, only it has been ordered that till investigations complete, till money comes out, forget about the fact that you've already realized all the assets and sold and distributed, the dissolution will not happen. So who is going to continue such investigations? And if you say that we have assigned that particular avoidance transaction, does it anywhere in the code, is it mentioned that you can actually assign your responsibility as a liquidator, which you have anyways to in those investigations? So that is one pertinent question which also needs to be answered. Another thing is that if this change can be made in the code, except in not in the regulations, because then it will be having a more impact. And one issue which is there when we are talking about the sale of the NRRA assets is would be regarding the valuations. Now, valuations are something would be a challenge because there are many cases where arbitration proceedings are going on. They've been going on for years. So how will you value those particular, at what value are they? It is possibility that in your valuation report, they have come as zero. You know, when you were saying that those debtors have been actually shown as zero nil value, but then what value will you as a liquidator put when you're selling those NRRAs? So there are something, when we have a regulation, we need a clarity also. Suppose there are cases where there are arbitration cases going on, there are counter cases which are there. So how are you actually going to come to the value? That is a practical challenge which needs to be seen also. So this was my view. Otherwise, NRRA is the sale, is the fact that assignment of these NRRAs will be a very good move, but we need to actually follow in detail. A proper procedure should be there so that there is no questions asked from the liquidator tomorrow. It is very important of every liquidator to safeguard themselves also. So there should be somewhere written how the process would be followed. And this was my view regarding the sale of NRA. But in reality, yes, you can't actually, in my case, like I said, you can't, the court has ordered that there will be no dissolution till your investigations are complete, till you get money, till you recover out of them, and that distribution is done by the liquidator. That may go on for 5 or 6 years. So practically, things are very different also. So all these needs to be put into account when you're actually this amendment is made in the regulations. My submission.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Mr. Yogesh Gupta to give their opinion.
Good evening, everyone. Pooja has rightly pointed out certain issues and which was very, very pertinent to these amendments. So whatever she has said is apart from that, my first observation is that how to decide that which asset is going to be included in NRRA, because it is going to be very, very subjective that which asset will be NRRA and which will not be NRRA. Going by the definition, it is said that which cannot be realized. Now it is a very subjective that which, how do you decide that which asset is not going to be realized? What action has been taken? What efforts have been taken? All these questions will arise at the time of defining the NRRAs. So it is going to be a little bit very difficult to decide that what is going to be NRRA. That is the first thing. Second is that in the amendment, they have proposed that, just a minute, that they are proposing that under the, like in the CIRP, there is a provision for assignment of the rights. In the liquidation also, this provision is very much required, and that is a very welcome step. But at the same time, they are saying that before making an approval, like when you are transferring the, assigning the rights to some like ARC or whosoever is going to take up these NRRAs, the liquidator is to apply to the adjudicating authority to modify an entry in the list of stakeholders. Under the CIRP, whenever there is an assignment of the liabilities by one creditor to another ARC or whosoever is taking the liability, it is just to be taken care of by the IP only. We don't need to go to the appellate authority. As you already know, that whenever we approach the AA, everything gets struck up. Sorry to say that this forum is not expediting anything, but I think that this change is required in the proposed amendment, that it should be for the information to the AA instead of taking the approval from the AA. Then secondly,
I had displayed it. You can see it.
Yeah. No, I have just pointed out certain things.
Okay.
I'm looking at those discussion points. So they have certain, in this discussion paper, there is another para at 49, which says that they have to have the discussion on the following points from these two issues. So in this point, they are writing that should it be possible for the liquidator to sell or assign NRRA to any third party as an alternative to liquidator pursuing such claims himself. I don't think there should be any issue to that. Next is that should the assignment have any option to recompense facility? Now this recompense is again a very difficult thing, because how do you decide that what is going to be the proportion in case something is realized later on? And the most difficult point is that who is going to monitor such recompensation of the realization of the such NRRAs by the party to whom it has been assigned. Now, whether they have been, once this assignment is over, whether the liquidator is going to continue with his duties and responsibilities, whether the SEC will also continue. These are some questions which I would place before the forum to answer these questions. Next is that should SEC be consulted before assigning NRRA? I think there is no problem if it is proposed to the SEC, and I don't think, there should be any problem with respect to that. And SEC can take a view on this, and in any case, the liquidator has been empowered to look into that. And in case liquidator is not happy with the decision taken by the SEC, he can give the reasons and carry forward. Next question was what measures should be taken to ensure the assignment of NRRA results in maximum realization. So again, as I said in the beginning, that we have to see that what action has already been taken for the for calling it as an NRRA. That is the first thing. That what action has been taken, whether you have taken the public auctions once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, whether you have made another effort, how many times you have given the advertisements in the public. And one more thing which somebody has pointed out in the chat box also, that whenever we are giving this public announcement, either in Form A during the CIRP and then in Form B in liquidation, I think there should be one window in the IBBI website that whatever advertisement we are releasing for the auction, that should also be there on the website of the IBBI. So that is another point which is not mentioned anywhere in this discussion paper, but I think that is a very important point which should be included in the somewhere in the, either in our suggestions or wherever it can be put up. And last question is that should the assignment of claim interest be provided under liquidation regulations with provisions similar to that in CIRP regulations? I agree with this. I don't think any, as far as I'm of the opinion that there is no problem with respect to that. So these are the few observations as far as the NRRA and these amendments are proposed by the IBBI. Thank you. Please carry on.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Rajkamal Sarogi ji to give their opinion.
Rajkamal ji.
Rajkamal ji, just unmute yourself.
Yeah. Sorry. Good evening, all. As far as this discussion paper is concerned, that is focusing on 5 questions, and I would like to go in reverse order. That will be a simpler one, because the last one is the simplest one, where I don't think there is any objection from any corner, and this is the set trend, and whether in CIRP or without CIRP, this is the normal practice that the claims are, or the loan is assigned to the different parties, and that is being acknowledged in CIRP also, and there should not be any difficulty in carrying that model in liquidation also. So I think where that is the point where there should not be any difficulty. But as far as the other points are concerned, the maximization is the question, maximization of value. That's a maximization of value. It looks to be a very novel purpose, but it's very difficult to implement. What should be and how it is to be bettered, that will depend on each case, and in each case it's very difficult to take a view at the time of assigning those assets, because the assets which is going to be encased during liquidation easily is not the point of discussion here. It is related to the assets which are not readily sellable, and in itself, it's by nature, it's difficult to go get those assets realized, and getting maximization in that is a really challenge where the liquidator will face very difficult answers to that. And the option regarding that, whether right to recompense means the liquidator need to continue in future also, and SEC needs to be continued in future. Otherwise, how to monitor and manage the right to recompense is that regulation must carry what is the clarifications, what is the model will be there for the how to take the right to recompense. And as far as the first question is concerned, in general, I will say that the purpose is a welcome move, but as far as implementation is concerned, the checks and balances in the regulation is concerned, that is not available in the draft proposal. That is why that is the simple submission from my side.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. JP Madan ji to give to share his views. JP Madan is there?
JP. Aanchal ji, please clear kar do where the GP Madan or JP Madan?
GP Madan, sir.
GP तो वैसे ही बंद है सर आजकल।
हैं?
और कोई मदान नहीं है भैया, एक आंचल मदान है और एक जीपी मदान है।
तो फिर ठीक है।
इधर जीपी है।
So it's my turn then.
Yes, sir.
मास्क लगाने
में one JP Madan. There is one JP Madan also in our circle who is also a professional. So that's why I really got confused whether he is also attending today's meeting. First of all, my apologies for joining late. Actually हुआ क्या, बहुत बड़ा द्वंद्व हो गया। PhD चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स की मैनेजिंग कमेटी मीटिंग अभी भी चल रही है। 4 बजे स्टार्ट हुई थी। आई थॉट इट विल बी ओवर बाय 5 o'clock, बट एट 5:15 तक 5 से 5:15 तक बहुत द्वंद्व चल रहा था। मैं उधर हूँ या उधर हूँ। अल्टीमेटली एट 5:15 आई डिसाइडेड टू क्विट फ्रॉम देयर। और ये मधुसूदन जी का प्यार है जो यहाँ पे खींच लाया एकदम।
Our privilege, sir.
ओके, थैंक यू। मेरे थोड़े से इश्यूज हैं योगेश जी के, मैं पूरा सुन नहीं पाया था बिकॉज आई जॉइंड वेरी लेट। I have 4 or 5 issues which I would like to discuss on this NRRA. First of all, in the concept paper or the discussion paper, there are certain examples of NRRA have been given, but NRRA has not been defined. According to me, NRRA should be defined what actually shall fall in NRRA category and what actually shall not fall in NRRA category. Number 2, at what stage of the liquidation these NRRA are to be assigned? In the beginning, in the middle, or at the end when everything has been sold out? Thirdly, whether because of this NRRA, this liquidation period is going to be extended or will it hamper the entire liquidation process? Because according to me, these decisions of assignment shall be taken in a hush-hush manner. Liquidator is having a limited time with him, and if it is to be assigned at the end of the liquidation period, then certainly whatever value he'll be getting, वो कहेगा इससे बेचो, assign करो, निकलो इससे। तो हो सकता है एंड असाइनमेंट के टाइम पे इसकी अच्छी वैल्यूएशन नहीं मिल पाए, और नहीं मिल पाए और इंतजार करना पड़ा, तो इंतजार करने के बाद तो कितना टाइम लग जाएगा गॉड नोज। बिकॉज जो उसमें एग्जाम्पल्स दिए हुए हैं ना, अगर हम उन एग्जाम्पल्स को देखें, गवर्नमेंट से जो पैसा आना है, कब आएगा, कितना आएगा, कैसे असाइन करना नहीं पता। मोरओवर जो असाइनी होगा, जिसको ये सब चीज असाइन होंगी, उसको क्या रिकॉग्निशन मिलेगी, उसकी क्या सैंक्टिटी होगी, उसका क्या लोकस होगा, उसको क्या अथॉरिटी होगी दैट पीपल विल एंटरटेन हिम। अभी रीसेंट एग्जांपल देता हूं, अभी लास्ट वीक की, despite NCLT's clear directions, one of the SDMs in UP in a CIRP process, he refused to unlock the premises. बोला I don't understand IBC, I don't understand NCLT. अब NCLT के ऑर्डर के बावजूद अगर नहीं हुआ है, तो असाइनमेंट में तो कौन असाइनमेंट करने वाला है? लिक्विडेटर। तो लिक्विडेटर के असाइनमेंट लेटर की क्या वहां पे वैलिडिटी होगी, कौन उसको एक्नॉलेज करने वाला है, वेदर असाइनी विल बी एबल टू रियलाइज ऑल दोस, बिकॉज़ ही हैज ऑलरेडी पेड द कंसिडरेशन। नाउ वेदर ही विल बी एबल टू रियलाइज these NRRs or not, I don't know. We have to see from that angle also. Secondly, सरावगी जी ने बोला, मैं उनके साथ सहमत हूं कि ये NRRs का इशू तो CIRP प्रोसेस में भी आता है. Why not to consider it that point of time also? Even normally क्या होता है, resolution professional is assigning zero value for all this. Whatever receivable I'm considering as zero, and then whatever shall be received by me later on, that will come to my pocket. I think NRRs should be considered at the time of CIRP also. Secondly, मेरा एक और issue है, इसमें मेरा suggestion है rather वो. These NRRs issues will be there in each and every liquidation matter. instead of dealing them individually in a particular case, can't they be combined? Like Investor Education and Protection Fund of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, जहाँ पे सारा unclaimed dividend, unclaimed share, deposit, debenture, interest thereon is transfer कर दिया जाता है. Can MCA or IBBI come out with such a fund or such a corpus where all these NRRA can be transferred, and then there can be trustees or there can be the managing people who shall be managing this trust or this fund, and then they'll be able to assign them जब जैसे maximum possible valuation मिल सकेगी, they'll be able to assign them. उन्हें कोई जल्दी नहीं होगी, and they'll be experts. According to me, the liquidator is not an expert in this assignment job. Some of them may be, I'm not. Some of the liquidator may be expert, but when this will be handled by the experts at the level of the trust, at that point of time, I think the objective of the law is the maximization of the value of the assets. NRR is also assets. So we will be able to have a better valuation if they all of them are clubbed together and then they are handled by the managing trustees. उसका disposal कैसे करना है, उसके लिए regulation rules frame किए जा सकते हैं. Otherwise also, once the assets are sold, which is not NRRA, all those assets are sold, liquidator भी free हो जाता है कि मेरा सब कुछ बिक गया है. NRRA को normally liquidator पे zero ही मान के चलता है, no buyer. और अगर असाइनमेंट कर दिया तो बहुत नॉमिनल वैल्यू मिलने वाली है इसकी, कोई अच्छा वैल्यू नहीं देने वाला है इसकी. तो अगर ये बेटर अगर ट्रस्ट फंड बना लिया जाए तो दैट इज इन द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द कोर्ट एंड द इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द स्टेक होल्डर्स आल्सो. थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir, sharing your views. Now I invite Ashok Kumar Gupta ji to give their opinion on this discussion paper.
Thank you, Anshul. प्रधान साहब को सुनने के बाद में, पूजा भरी जी को सुनने के बाद में लगता है कि IBBI लिक्विडेशन ट्रस्ट रेगुलेशन और अदरवाइज IBBI असाइनमेंट रेगुलेशन भी आने वाला है. इसमें आपकी डेफिनेशन आ जाएगी, प्रोसीजर आ जाएगा, मेजर्स, प्रिकॉशंस, एवरीथिंग. Liquidator should complete his assignment within 1 year of period of time. That is the objective of the IBBI. And this process comes after a lot of issues handled by the liquidator, like कि promoter का land है, building company का है, how to dispose. तो ultimate PUF का है. PUF में issue ये है कि if you think this is your responsibility to recover the money under PUF, so might be we are wrong. This is a state obligation. State को recover करना है, हमें नहीं करना है. हमें तो only determine करके file कर देना है application. और उसको carry on NCLT के बाद में state government और IBBI करें. But issue ये है कि they are continue keeping us as a party and in the case. That is a difficulty facing by the liquidator or RP. So I agree fully कि NRRA is through assignment is a better option. Compensates is the issue, but stakeholders का conflict आ सकता है, तो वहीं CRP की तरह भी go for the voting arrangement. Measures already दिए हुए हैं, बाकी वो एक नया regulation आ जाएगा. और जहाँ तक इशू है कि कांस्टेंट चीजें क्या हैं, ERP में असाइनमेंट अलाउ है, सेम थिंग शुड बी अलाउ इन द लिक्विडेशन. कांस्टेंट है कि PUF में यू हैव टू इन्वेस्टिगेट एंड डिटरमिन द ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ अवॉइडेंस. सेम थिंग विल कंटिन्यू इन द लिक्विडेटर. You are not assigning your responsibility. You are not assigning your responsibility towards investigation, but you are only leaving the assets which cannot be sold in the normal course of the business by you. And Madan साहब का ये point बिल्कुल ठीक है कि we are not capable to sell such type of assets. या तो बहुत लंबा discussions हैं, उसमें disputes हैं, lot of litigations हैं, multi litigations हैं, fund नहीं मिलेगा, तो छोड़ दीजिए ना उसको. Why should we continue? Let assigning आएगा, he will do the due diligence about PUF transaction, about government dues. Yes, government dues में refund is not easy process because government has to amend its act, all excise, VAT, GST, income tax, to empower the assignee to get the benefit. KYC तो होगा CD का, assignee का तो होगा नहीं. तो वो कैसे लेगा रिफंड? तो दैट इशू शुड बी हैंडल्ड बाय द amendment in the particular act, but it can be possible. The purpose is to make the simplify the process. जो नहीं दिख सकता उसको भेज देना. That's why this assignment is a, we are just keeping this assignment only for facilitating the assets which cannot be sold by a liquidator in 1 year period of time. बस उतना ही सोचें, बाकी कुछ सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. बस इसको असाइन कर दें. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Mr. Sanjeev Ahuja ji to give their opinion.
Sanjeev joined shortly.
संजीव जी भी मेरे साथ ही थे उधर मैनेजिंग कमेटी में, वो भी छोड़ के आए हैं देखो.
हाँ, he joined it. I saw him, but again he's not visible. Okay. So.
आज संजीव जी शफल कर रहे होंगे उधर या इधर, दोनों तरफ के मजे कर रहे हैं.
Ajay Jain ji, you would like to have something for the members?
Good evening, everybody. I'm in favor of this amendment and I endorse the view of Gupta ji, Yogesh Gupta ji and GP Madan ji, and I have to add nothing. Thank you.
It is very surprising that Ajay ji has nothing to add. Okay.
Manish Paliwal ji.
Manish, you want to say something?
Manish is a discussion with someone.
Manish has suggested regarding this
He gives
process.
much views in chat box. So
Okay.
I ask, you want to speak?
So if you permit me, I can make a quick comment on some of the issues raised. One thing is very clearly that this type of amendments, as Pooja ji suggested in the very beginning, should be part of the code. Otherwise, enforceability will become an issue. And second thing is, as it happens generally with amendments, when you propose some amendments to facilitate something, if it is not drafted properly, it may lead to more problems, as our friends have already pointed out, especially how and when you can decide, or how you can decide that whether it is non-realizable, because it will add a lot of responsibility on the liquidator. As such, people are ready to bounce on the IRPs, and when the liquidator takes such a decisions, there will be a host of litigation if there is a proper process not done. So in that case, I only suggest that it should be left to the stakeholder consultation committee. And if that committee decides, then the liquidator is absolved. But the problem is the existing regulations do not empower SEC to prevail over liquidator. So that will require an amendment. And one small point regarding the suggestion made by Madanji, like this dividend, undeclared dividend fund and all those kind of things. So there's a basic difference. See, that is the money available already. It is not distributed. Here it is the money which is to be realized, and we are not sure whether it is realizable or not. This requires a lot of efforts to realize. Whereas in case of this unclaimed dividend, the only effort required is to make payment when somebody is claiming it. So these are two different types of phenomenon. It may not be easy to equate them. So I request if any other member would like to put his viewpoint.
Sir, may I put something?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So basically, we are facing two problems. One is there are NRRA.
Can you put your video on?
Yes. I am now on video.
Vishal. Oh, Vishal.
So first of all, NRRA जो हमारे सामने प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, वो क्या आ रही है कि प्रॉपर्टी है ए के नाम में, बी उसको बी के नाम में असाइंड है ऑलरेडी, सी उसका बायर है. नाउ प्रॉपर्टी बिलोंग्स टू वन पर्सन, सेलिंग बाय अनदर पर्सन. It's like there are so many examples in NRRA. जो जो बदान साहब ने भी कहा है और बाकी स्पीकर्स ने कहा है, इट शुड बी डिफाइंड प्रॉपरली, नंबर 1। एंड नंबर 2, जो ये ट्रस्ट वाली बात आ रही है सर, इन्वेस्टर प्रोटेक्शन फंड इज सर्टेनली इज मैनेजिंग द फंड्स, लेकिन इसमें सब अगर हम एक इस ऑथोरिटेटिव कैपेसिटी में एक इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ये सारे एनआरआरए ट्रांसफर कर देंगे तो एटलीस्ट लिक्विडेटर को एक रिलीफ मिलेगा कहीं ना कहीं कि भी आपको एक असाइनमेंट आपकी एंड हो गई है, और एक प्रोसेस भी टाइम बाउंड मैनर और मैक्सिमाइजेशन ये भी अचीव हो सकते हैं उससे। एग्जीक्यूशन किस तरीके से होता है दैट इज टू बी सीन, लेकिन जो ये क्वेश्चन पुट अप कर रहे हैं कि रिकम्पनसेट फैसिलिटी से आई डोंट थिंक एनीथिंग कैन बी अचीव्ड, क्योंकि ये इट विल क्रिएट अ chaos in the market and more confusion in the market. This is what I am trying to put up. Now open for the floor.
Madhusudan ji, I want to say something.
I think
Yes, please.
recompense का जो जहाँ तक सवाल है, I agree that there should be a clause for the recompense, because all the NRRAs which we are thinking that these could be the NRRAs, because there are a lot of possibilities that these can be realized over a period of time, like the debtors or the proceedings going against the promoters under avoidable transactions. There are possibilities and there could be a huge amount which can be recovered later on. But today nobody is going to pay for it because it is very, very uncertain and you do not have full knowledge about those assets. So once the assignee enters into such agreements, such debts, then he will take it forward, and once it realizes, then there should be a right to share the proceeds of such realizations. So I think recompense requirement has to be there. It is especially under the NRRA, where it is very difficult to quantify today, as on the date of assignment. It is not known that what is the value which is going to be derived. Tomorrow only you will be able to derive certain values, and that has to be recompensated to the creditors of the company. As regards the transfer of rights to the trust, I have a little bit of a different opinion only on one issue, that this property belongs to the corporate debtor, and this company, the money of any realization against these NRRAs has to go to the creditors, not to anyone. So I don't agree with that because the proceeds have to be distributed to the creditors only of that company, not to a public at large. Then
योगेश जी, उसमें मेरा ये कहना है कि फॉर असाइनमेंट पर्पस वो ट्रस्ट बन जाए, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कैसे होना है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन अब कंपनी को जाना चाहिए.
Correct.
Assignment पर्पस में कह रहा हूँ उधर जाना चाहिए.
No, but then in that case, who is going to manage the trust? Because the trust will be holding so many properties. Then it will be difficult for any person to, again it will like a government machinery, फिर वहाँ पे जाके वो dump हो जाएगा और कुछ नहीं होगा.
देखो ये तो preliminary thought है सिर्फ अभी.
That is the key issue. Recompense should be there, but how it has to be managed? That is the billion-dollar question.
The question which I asked Madhusudan has rightly pointed out again कि एक बारी ये तो चलो recompense तो हो गया. अभी जो पहला क्वेश्चन वो यही है कि सर ये लिक्विडेटर का रोल क्या रहेगा आफ्टर it has assigned the rights of such NRRAs to assignees. सबसे बड़ा क्वेश्चन तो वही है. Whether liquidator will continue into that position or not.
योगेश जी, बड़ी सिंपल चीज है. लिक्विडेटर का रोल वैसे ही रहेगा जैसे अभी है. वो जितने भी अनक्लेम रह गया अमाउंट जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं हुआ या होने वाला है, उसकी लिस्ट बना के आईबीओ को सबमिट कर देता है. वहां से वो पब्लिक लिक्विडेशन अकाउंट में पैसा जब आएगा उस पर्टिकुलर सिटी अकाउंट का.
लेकिन भाई साहब वो डिस्चार्ज तो नहीं होता लिक्विडेटर डिस्चार्ज तो नहीं होता.
एक मिनट सर, आप अभी जो केसेस हो रहे हैं उसमें हम लोग लिक्विडेटर को डिस्चार्ज करा रहे हैं.
Ashok, can I suggest one thing? There are some few people want to share their opinion. We will have the last round for something which is remaining to be said by any of the speaker. So let the new people who want to say give their opinion about it, and then we'll come as a last round, 1 or 2 minutes. Each speaker can add to whatever they have said earlier. So Anil, Aishwarya, Gautam, Dharmender, or anybody else who wants to speak, we have another 15 minutes.
हाँ मधुसूदन जी,
हाँ
मधुसूदन जी, धर्मेंद्र,
आप अपना वीडियो ऑन कीजिए and you can start. हाँ
ओके, वीडियो ऑन करने में थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम लग रहा है,
चलो
but,
आप बोल दीजिए,
या
आप बोल दीजिए।
चलो सर, हाँ वो ड्राइविंग मोड में चला गया है, whatever, हाँ अभी ठीक, so whatever our earlier speakers and friends have said, in addition to that I have 2-3 issues to add here. One is this voting in a stakeholder consultation committee. Nothing has been mentioned, so voting will happen like it happens in CIRP, during CIRP, or it will be by numbers, so that should be clarified. Voting, assignee gets all rights of assigner, that is as per Contract Act. But when it is a statutory position like liquidator, I think there is a need to give that authority, like liquidator's authority, to assignee by way of some provisions, inserting some provisions in code, in addition to what it is there in Indian Contracts Act, through assignment of the contract. So this is number 2. And third was who will distribute this deferred realization or after recompense. So already Mr. Madan has given a suggestion to make a trust and trustee or a corpus like that. But if it is on a one-to-one basis, I think we can have a like escrow account, create a escrow account and define everything that as per the waterfall mechanism given in section 53, whatever is there in the claim and this free for secured creditor, unsecured creditor, that is defined at the time of assignment, and then whenever assignment happens and whatever is the amount, as per that it should go to escrow account, and trustees or the signatories to that escrow account should distribute as defined in the beginning as per section 53. So these are the few comments I have. Thank you very much.
मनीष जी, आप शेयर कुछ करना चाह रहे थे? आपके बहुत सारे कमेंट्स हैं चैट बॉक्स में.
Sir, in fact, I have a different take on entire issue. Perhaps what has happened that the regulators have not thought of कि इस तरह की इंडस्ट्री किस तरह से वर्क करती है. Basically, जहाँ पे भी इस तरह के provisions हैं, it's an entire industry which deals in the contingent और इस तरह के claims के अंदर. So simply adding 1 or 2 provision will not help, because one, there is a problem of recompensation. Take an example, कोई case 10 साल चलता है तो nobody will take the responsibility to recompensate. That's untenable. Secondly, the trust itself will be costly to set up and run it. Escrow account करो, आपको trust करो, it becomes financially unviable. Third, उन्होंने decide नहीं किया कि at what stage what is to be done. So if we look to the developed jurisdiction जहाँ पे इस तरह की practice होती है कि आप इस तरह के claims sold off कर सकते हो, there is an entire set of mechanism where these things are to be dealt with. And the more they go into it, the industry is really adopts the means which are not fair. उसको regulate करने के लिए they have to come with another regulation. So far it is fine. They are coming with some regulations to say that these things can be sold. but there should not be any restriction who purchases them, because इस तरह की risk कोई normal बंदा नहीं लेता. Only an industry or person who can deal in such things will take the risk. These industries survive on the high margin. तो उसके अंदर recompensate का provision पूरी दुनिया में कहीं work नहीं करता, नहीं इंडिया में करेगा. Thirdly, to get out of a litigation or those claims, they use all kinds of means. So there has to be a transparent adjudicatory mechanism जहाँ पे ये fast resolve हो सके. In any case, as soon as this is done, the IRP, RP liquidator जो भी जिस भी capacity में वहाँ पे finally install हुआ है, they should be set free. And in fact, what they should have done, they should have examined this kind of industry in USA or developed jurisdiction जहाँ पे ये claim sold off करते हैं. Merely writing some provision which actual viability has not been tested will not serve any purpose. So ये जो provision है 29A में suppose आपको disputed property है, तो एक बार वो बंदा खरीद भी लेगा जिसकी original थी, तो there is no harm in it because he has passed the muster of like resolution plan में उसका कुछ बना नहीं है, कुछ assets से उसका sentimental attachment है, वो खरीदना चाह रहा है, तो what is lost to them? So the thing is, the person who is carrying on the business should not be looked from the angle that as he is corrupt. Right now, what is happening is NCLT हो गया, resolution professional हो गया, everybody is looking at the eye, अच्छा उसने कुछ और कुछ गड़बड़ की होगी. Till you keep on finding the गड़बड़, there will not be end of the resolution proceedings ever. Neither the CIRP will come to an end, nor liquidation and nor litigation.
Okay, that's good, Manish. So can I now request all the Pooja, Madanji, Yogeshji, if they have a quick comment, not more than 1 minute, because we'll have to close at 6.
Pooja भी है, चली गई है.
Pardon?
Pooja madam है, चली गई है.
You can start. 1 minute, then.
Actually, I wanted to quote a case of Pooja madam only because yesterday we were in ICSI meeting. उन्होंने बड़ा अच्छा एक incident बताया है.
She had already shared that.
अच्छा, already shared that. तो actually that's a lesson for everybody. अगर आप ये देखिए dissolution के time पे अगर SFI inquiry हो सकती है और वो 3, 4, 5, 6 साल लग सकते हैं, तो अगर ये NRRA अगर applicable हो गया, so this liquidator will never be absolved from his duties, from his responsibilities.
That is true. It should be without the liquidator. Then only.
Yes. आप liquidator के साथ करो, but you absolve the liquidator. अब ये कहते हैं respect to that is pending, liquidator shall not be held responsible, liable for anything. Company shall be, and company will be ordered to be dissolved also.
Okay, that is true. Yogesh, you would like to add something quickly?
एक sentence, एक चीज हो रहा है मेरी. हम सभी बात करें, कई पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने, स्पीकर्स ने बोला है रिगार्डिंग दिस, लैंड किसी की है, बिल्डिंग किसी की है, कंस्ट्रक्शन राइट किसी के पास है. आई थिंक ये जो फिक्स एसेट्स वाला पोर्शन है, दिस शुड नॉट कम इन NRRA. उसका मेरा रीजन सिंपल है. अगर हम फिक्स एसेट्स को लेकर आएंगे, लैंड बिल्डिंग इनको लेकर आएंगे NRR में, तो इन डिस्प्यूटेड प्रॉपर्टीज के तो बायर्स और मार्केट में अवेलेबल हैं, और वो सेगमेंट कौन है और कैसा है, क्या हम उन सब चक्रों में पढ़ने को तैयार हैं क्या उस सेगमेंट के साथ? हम उनके हैंडल नहीं कर सकते हैं, और अगर हम उनके साथ इन्वॉल्व हो गए तो हम उनसे कभी निकल भी नहीं पाएंगे.
In addition to कि ये जो बात करें कि भी liquidator कैसे absorb होगा, I think even in certain cases in the NCLT during the CIRP process also, for the applications made under section 66 or other these avoidable transactions, I think in one of the courts has taken a view that the resolution plan will be taken up after the section 66 application is cleared. So this is a very ridiculous kind of decisions taken by the courts. I think there should be clarity on these measures. And as I said earlier in my opening remarks, only one amendment which is saying that anything which is going to any assignee will require the approval of AA. That should not be there. It should be only approved by SCC, and discretion should not be available to the liquidator also. So that once it is decided by SCC, the rights to the assignee should be transferred by the liquidator for that particular NRRA.
मधुसूदन, एक छोटा सा क्विक कमेंट है योगेश जी के स्टेटमेंट के ऊपर। मेरे हिसाब से एससीसी को कोई भी अप्रूवल की पावर नहीं होनी चाहिए। अगर यहाँ हमने अप्रूवल के लिए लिया है एससीसी को, एससीसी बाकी चीजों में अप्रूवल के लिए घुस जाएगी। अभी लिक्विडेटर बचा हुआ है एससीसी से, अभी खाली रिकमेंडेटरी नेचर है एससीसी की। अप्रूवल आ गई तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी।
आई एम सेइंग ओनली फॉर द एनआरआरए एसेट्स।
मैं कह रहा हूं
इधर कुआं है उधर गड्ढा है, किसमें बचोगे?
मैं कह रहा हूँ नहीं लेकर, अप्रूवल के लिए मत लेकर आओ उसे किसी भी चीज के लिए।
अभी तो बनाने एक अभी डाला हुआ है इसके अंदर।
इसका पॉजिटिव साइड देख लेते हैं सर। let I review positive sides.
Last quick one comment by Ashok, 1 minute.
Yeah. Resolution cannot be possible without keeping any litigation pending or any unrealized assets. अब यहाँ पे आपके पास ऑप्शन अवेलेबल हैं इसके, you can continue dissolve the company with pending litigation by assigning the things. Second है कि liquidation account is there which can be maintained by the IBBI. उसमें you can submit, the liquidator can submit the hierarchy 53 के according किसको कितना पैसा मिलेगा और वो उसके अकॉर्डिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएगा. थर्ड है कि रिकम्पेंस के अंदर आपका आज भी वही हाल है. अगर आपका लिटिगेशन पेंडिंग है या एसेट पड़ा हुआ तो आपको वही हाल है जो कल रहेगा. तो रिकम्पेंस इज ओनली एडवांटेज टू यू. तो वो आपको कैरी ऑन करना ही पड़ेगा. कांस्टेंट रिस्क आपके साथ में, बट यू शुड बी कंटिन्यू. बट दिस इज गिविंग अ लॉट ऑफ बेनिफिट. थोड़ा बहुत तो प्रॉब्लम आज भी है और कल भी रहेगा, बट इसको करना. That is my understanding.
We have Mr. Anil Bhatia, who has been associated with the large case in liquidation. Anil, if you want to quickly share your views on that. Anil? Okay. Then over to you, Aanchal, to...
एक पॉइंट मधुसूदन जी, एक पॉइंट एससीसी वाला.
हाँ, जल्दी से.
स्टेक होल्डर कंसल्टेशन मीटिंग से आपको कंफर्मेशन मिल गई तो आप फिर के एडवांटेज स्टेटस पे ही हैं, क्योंकि आप पे बर्डन नहीं रहेगा. ये तो हमेशा बर्डन रहेगा कि आपने गलत डिसीजन.
That is the reason. That is true.
Thank you, sir.
Aanchal, over to you. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही आंचल.
विशाल जी बोलने देंगे तो बोलेगी ना.
Now Vishal ji sum up this webinar.
देखा, मैंने कहा था ना, विशाल ने इशारा कर दिया, आपने बोला.
सही बात है सर, मैंने इशारा नहीं करा था. इनफैक्ट थोड़ा चैट बॉक्स में कुछ सजेशंस आए हुए हैं. आई वुड एंड अप विद दोस सजेशंस. One suggestion is there should be one platform where all the assets should be listed in searchable form. The eligibility criteria should be removed. And 29A के विषय में एक कमेंट है कि it should not come in the way of NRRA. However, कितना वायबल रहेगा, कितना प्रैक्टिकल रहेगा, I don't understand. ADR, yes, ADR की रिक्वायरमेंट हर स्टेज पर रिकमेंड की जा रही है, और इस स्टेज पर भी अगर ADR इंट्रोड्यूस किया जाता है, nothing is harm in it. Stamp duty waiver, profit share will come into the play. Should mechanism be regulate that? वो मदान साहब वाली बात आती है कि अगर कुछ ट्रस्ट वगैरह बना के हम शेयर कर सकें तो इट विल बी बेटर. अदरवाइज तो इट विल क्रिएट अगेन अ ब्लंडर in the market, in my view. Why should one can get amount after the assignment? Assignment consideration is the total receivable, is not it? Agree with the things कि भाई ये assignment के बाद कोई नहीं बचना चाहिए, या कोई भी शेयरिंग नहीं बचती है, ऐसा लोगों का व्यू आ रहा है. नाउ सभी ने अपना ल्यूसिड वे में काफी थॉट प्रोसेस में किया है. योगेश जी कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं? ये
जस्ट वन लाइन की जो आपने बोला था कि भाई ये कोई पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म होना चाहिए, वो मैंने अपनी ओपनिंग रिमार्क्स में बोला था कि आईबीबीआई में दो तरीके के पब्लिक अनाउंसमेंट ऑलरेडी देयर हैं. एक अनाउंसमेंट का उनको विंडो और देना चाहिए. जितने भी ऑक्शन नोटिसेस हम पब्लिक न्यूज़पेपर्स अनाउंसमेंट देते हैं न्यूज़पेपर्स में, देयर शुड बी अ विंडो वेयर दीज ऑक्शन नोटिसेस कैन बी पब्लिश ऑन आईबीबीआई's वेबसाइट.
वेरी करेक्ट, वेरी करेक्ट. ये भी एक थॉट प्रोसेस हो सकता है.
साहब कह रहे थे कि कर रहे हैं, हम लोग प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं, वो स्टार्ट होने वाला है.
यस, मेन चीज यही है कि भाई रेगुलेशंस आर देयर, वी आर गेटिंग ओवर रेगुलेटेड, लेकिन चीजें कितनी एग्जीक्यूट हो पाती हैं, दैट इज टू बी सीन एंड टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ मार्केट विल रिएक्ट ओवर दैट. With this, I thank all of you to share your views and participate in limited numbers but qualitative way. I thank you all, and
so can I just make one small request which I make in every webinar, and that is hardly honored. If you can share your opinion on WhatsApp to me or in the group, we'll compile it and send it to IBBI. That will make my job
Question wise.
slightly easier. It won't take more than 5 to 10 minutes for each one of you who have spared 1 hour to discuss on this platform. And thanks to everyone for participating in this
Thank you, everybody.
webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
जी मधुसूदन की रिकॉर्डिंग कर लिया करो। मदान साहब के मुंह से जो बात निकलती है वो माता सरस्वती का वो होती है, वो कई बार निकल जाती है लेकिन राइटिंग में शायद ना आए। तो मेरा ये कहना है कि हमारे जितने लर्नर लोग हैं जिनसे कुछ तो कोई अच्छा निकल जाता है वो
ठीक है। ओके,
मधुसूदन की मीटिंग्स को मैं मिस नहीं करता कभी, क्योंकि इनकी मीटिंग्स में डिसिप्लिन बहुत होता है। टाइम से शुरू होगी, टाइम से खत्म हो जाएगी, और एक्चुअली जो बात हमने 10 मिनट में कहनी है वो बात हम 2-3 मिनट में भी कह सकते हैं, और हमें इतना ही टाइम मिलता है और हम कह पाते हैं अपनी बात।
That is true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.